My 22 female boyfriend, 26 male, is going to break up with me now that my terminally ill grandmother has passed. We've been together for 9 months. Met through work in a state neither of us are from and we both dislike it here. He asked me to move with him to his home state and we agreed to do so at the end of the year as my grandmother was terminally ill and I wanted to be here to maximize time with her. She unfortunately passed earlier this week and it has been hard. Even harder the day after she died. He thought I was sleeping, but I wasn't and I saw him texting his mom. He told her, she hasn't done anything, honestly she's great, but that he had no business being in this relationship and knew he couldn't bring me home because he wants to spend time with friends and family and not have another person to worry about. Which to that I have no idea what he's talking about because I pay our rent. He moved in with me because he had roommates, and I take care of more than half of our essential, non-essential expenses, have my degree, and generally take care of our home while encouraging his hard work towards moving up in his job as well as keeping a meaningful relationship with his best friend so it's not like I'm dead weight. He was also planning out how he would move out of here, where he would go, how he would be the asshole because I am generally well liked by everyone around us. Throughout this his mom, who despite my most genuine efforts never really liked me because she doesn't think he should be dating in the first place, sat and told him he takes care of me too much and needs to focus on his own health. This conversation took place Monday. I was grieving my grandmother so I didn't have time to process it, but it's now Friday morning and I'm stuck in a numb shock. He has not skipped a beat in our relationship. He tells me how much he loves me. He wakes up in the middle of the night to pull me closer and say he doesn't know where I came from but I'm perfect and all his. He still talks to my parents. I wouldn't know anything was wrong if I hadn't seen him send those texts. Is it possible there is something deeper going on with him and this is just where he can feel control? Or am I just being a clown and letting him use me for comfortability? I want to address him point blank, but part of me feels like why bother if he wants to break up with me, he should just suck it up and do it. Too long did not read. My boyfriend and I have been waiting for my grandmother to pass for us to move closer to his family and now that she has he's talking to his mom behind my back about breaking up with me, but I only know because I saw him text her. Should I confront him directly hoping there's a deeper issue that can be worked out? Or should I just accept he's comfortable right now, but doesn't see a future like he says and move on with my life? Edit for the confusion on how I was able to read this thread as it was happening. I had been sleeping for about an hour with my head on his chest. He had his arms around me and was texting with his phone down by his hips, so essentially directly in front of my face. And I just didn't move or indicate that I had woke up, which was wrong of me and I shouldn't have been reading them. He's not a bad guy, and if he's just fallen out of love that is devastating, but I hope he furthers his life in ways that make him happy. I think my main goal for posting this was to seek out if I should be the one to confront this or if I should just hope he was having an equally stressful time and said those things out of stress and I should just give him the support he needs to figure it out since he's been emotionally supporting me. Thank you to everyone who sent their support and all the replies have gave me a lot to think about but ultimately add up to I need to ask him questions I don't know the answer to and hope the conclusion is what's best for both of us. If the mom doesn't like you, it could be that he gets positive validation from his mom when he talks about leaving you, or complains about you. So he tells her a story that she wants to hear. That is not a person I'd want to be with. Either the words he said are true, in which case you shouldn't let him take advantage of you. Or the words he said are false, and no matter what you do his mom will never like you because she thinks he doesn't like you, and your partner cares about making his mom happy at your expense. Neither is a good place to be. I feel like you're catastrophizing, misinterpreting a little. From the texts you saw, I don't know how you get to, he thinks I'm dead weight and is going to leave me. There's obviously something going on, but I think you just need to have an honest conversation about the move. I wouldn't say you'd seen texts though. Even if you oversaw them innocently, I'd be upset if I thought my partner had snooped on phone. First, I'm very sorry for the loss of your grandmother. Make sure you're getting emotional support from family and friends. With regards to your BF, this is how I look at it. Knowing what you know, is a confrontation worth the mental and emotional energy? Is it important for you to get him to admit anything? Because I wouldn't trust this guy. In other words, is he worth your time and energy? I think you'd be better served by breaking things off. Be vague. You don't owe him lots of detail, just say you need to be close to your family. I feel like he's making you out to be the bad guy to his mom, for whatever reason. Take this as a lesson and move on with your life. You can't unknow what you know. Absolutely confront him and see what he has to say. He's supposed to proudly introduce you to his friends, not be feel tied down by your presence. If you don't like the explanation, cast this two-faced creep to the curb because you deserve someone better. At 22 you have your whole life ahead of you. She doesn't like you because of what he's telling her. He's taking advantage and needs to leave. That was entirely too fast to move in together, especially with such an uneven distribution of payments. I would honestly just break up with him. He doesn't sound all that great and seems like you're trying to make excuses for him, then face the reality. How on earth did you see what and who he was texting? You must have some superhero kind of eyesight. And how did he not see that you were reading his texts? First, I'm very sorry for the loss of your grandmother. Make sure you're getting emotional support from family and friends. With regards to your BF, this is how I look at it: knowing what you know, is a confrontation worth the mental and emotional energy? Is it important for you to get him to admit anything? Because I wouldn't trust this guy. In other words, is he worth your time and energy? I think you'd be better served by breaking things off. Be vague. You don't owe him lots of detail, just say you need to be close to your family. I feel like he's making you out to be the bad guy to his mom, for whatever reason. Take this as a lesson and move on with your life.